everybody. So throughout history, there's been many cultures that have shaped the political backbone of what the United States is today. From the Quakers' ideas in the 1660s about tolerating different religions to the 1960s civil rights movement. That is why I think politics affect our culture and sense of morality, whether you like to believe it or not. Especially nowadays with big movements like the Black Lives Matter movement and the Antifa movement. So today I'm going to talk about Black Lives Matter mostly in terms of their economic impact. So Black Lives Matter has been the most popular subcultural movement since 2015, and its economic and social sphere has grown exponentially after the death of George Floyd in 2020. One of its purposes is to fight racism through activist work, especially targeting police brutality and violence against Black people. And its social media presence has been huge, with their famous Black Lives Matter hashtag being used over 48 million times. It is easier to believe that everything Black Lives Matter has done, it's been with the purpose of racial justice and the fight for general peace. But if that's the case, why did so-called peaceful protests turn into criminal vandalism after the death of George Floyd? According to a NewsWeek article, more than 1,500 businesses in Minneapolis and St. Paul damaged during riots following George Floyd's killing remained closed, while others are struggling to stay open. With 500 million in damage to the Twin Cities, protests are the second costliest civil disturbance in the U.S. history behind the 1992 riots in Los Angeles. Not to mention the damages done in states like New York, Texas, Atlanta, and even Massachusetts itself. Many media outlets and very influential people in social media like Chrissy Teigen try to describe this violence through the means of people are angry and they deserve to be angry type of excuse. But is it really an excuse to destroy small businesses, loot the city, and even burn police cars because you are angry? So if we look at the population of the United States, 75% is white, 50% is Black, and the secondary race that commits the most crime is Black people statistically. But when does Black Lives Matter have spoken about reducing crime in their own communities? According to Patrice Cullors, defunding the police is the solution. However, how can we have a good police force when the police is constantly demonized in the media as racists and bigots? Meanwhile, Patrice Cullors has bought herself a huge mansion right after the big donations that Black Lives Matter received, right after the death of George Floyd. She also donated to multiple organizations that do not have a public tax filing like Black Lives Matter does, and I think it's important to know what these organizations do with their money. Black Lives Matter slogan is racism, and when an organization is based on division, I think that they make themselves very profitable of a culture of victimhood. If Black Lives Matter really cares about Black lives, they should ask themselves these questions. Why is Black youth incarcerated more than the white youth? Why are Black children 6 times more likely to have a parent incarcerated than white children? Why are Black kids dropping out of school more than white kids? So I think Black Lives Matter has created a culture more of victimhood rather than empowerment.